I've done a lot of thinking recently, with the website I was going to, Had Enough Religious Bullshit, trying to figure out whether or not that was something I wanted to affiliate myself with. There you go. That's my sandwich cooking. Because some of the views they express are very extreme and anti-religious. Actually, they're just anti-God in some cases. Just anti the belief in God. And I've never thought of myself as anti the belief in God. Because I don't think that's something we have much of a choice over. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't allowing myself to express views that were not my own, that I was saying things that I didn't truly believe. I wanted to make sure how I felt about the issue. I want to kind of take you guys on a journey so that maybe you can see what it's like from my perspective. And by you guys, I mean the people who believe in God. People have expressed the way they feel about believing in God, and I can understand that because I used to believe in God, and I can comprehend it, and I know what that feeling is like, and I've kind of started to associate that feeling with things other than God, because not only is it more practical, but it makes me happier, to be honest. It just makes me happier to think that I have more control over things that happen to me. Reality is what is there regardless of whether or not you believe in it. If you believe in Santa Claus, stop watching now. If I believe in Santa Claus, he's there. If I stop believing in Santa Claus, he isn't. There is not a place at the North Pole where elves are making toys and Santa doesn't have a list of every child on Earth. It's very impractical. I still enjoy the idea of Santa Claus very much. The idea of Santa Claus is great because it's something happy that you can look forward to once a year. It's fun. It's supposed to say, if you're good, good things happen. That's the idea. That's the whole idea. I like Santa Claus. The idea of him is awesome, but he's not real. You know, if you believe in Santa Claus, you can start watching again. Santa Claus exists in my head. Why? Because I was told about him. He was explained to me. He's now in my memory banks. He will be there forever. God. The idea of God was explained to me. I experienced it firsthand. I believed in God. I knew there was a God. It's in my head. It will always be there. The moment I realized I had stopped believing is the moment he stopped existing. You can imagine yourself not believing in God. He's gone. There is no more God, and there's nothing on Earth or in the universe that can say different. That book is there. If I think, no, that book isn't there, and then I look, oh, well, the book is there. But if I say, well, there is no God, and I look, I'd be like, yeah, there is no God. There's nothing out there that can say to me, that's not true. You can say, oh, there is no evolution, and then you go, but what about genes? What about genetic mutations that cause adaptation to an environment? What about natural selection? There are things out there that lead you down that path. There are no things out there that lead you down the path that says, well, of course there's a God then. We can say, oh, global warming doesn't exist, but there are signs that say, well, it might. I can say God does not exist. There are no signs that say he does. It's all in people's heads. It's all faith. It's all belief. And that's fine for you. But if you want to understand my perspective, okay, I'm going to paint the picture as best I can using analogous references. There's this forest. It's a massive forest. Extremely massive. There are a whole bunch of paths just throughout the whole thing. There's all these paths that are interconnected and intertwined, and they're all interconnected in some way. Except there's one path. There's one path that is way off to the side, and nothing is connected to it. All these little paths that connect to the bigger ones, the little ones, are what I like to call facts and knowledge And the bigger ones that connect to these little ones are what I like to call conclusions. And that bigger one, that's way off to the side, that doesn't touch any of the others, that is God. See, if you start on one of these paths, you can reach all the other paths in some way or another. By knowing something, by learning things, by figuring out facts about life, you can reach all these other paths that have been created throughout this forest. But no matter what you do, that path will never lead you to God. And God will never lead you to any of the paths that connect you to knowledge about life. Forest is what I like to call imagination. And there are paths that cut through imagination that tell us things about reality. But for the most part, it's all just in our head. It takes imagination to reach him. You can't do it through sheer knowledge or fact. Okay, check this out. I shit you not. Check this out. Through the fire and flames, Dragon Force. 85%. 3 stars, because it's really fucking hard on expert.